Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another fantastic indie comic interview. It's your host, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our first ever returning indie comic creator, George. I don't even need to give your last name because we are on a formal introduction already. How are you doing, George? Welcome back to the show, man.
Oh man, thank you so much for having me back, Cody. I appreciate you, man. This is fun, man. I'm glad to be back.
Dude, it's insane. So we had our interview in December, and I pretty much went like a month or two in between. And then ever since then, I just pumped it out left and right. You were like the one that like officially, and I seriously cannot stress enough, seriously, the one that ignited the flame that just got me booming with everything. So I have everything to thank to this man right here.
Oh man, listen, you've been killing it. You're doing your thing. I've been watching the interviews, man. You are rocking. You're rocking. I love it.
We have Red Sea Comics in the chat as well, saying, "Hey George, one of the best indie creators out there." And I gotta agree,
Hey.
you and Sam put some of the most like heat that I've seen out recently, and a lot of the things you guys are doing are just remarkable. I really love honestly the tier for giving comics to kids. Like that is seriously like your guys' like mission statement behind that is just so phenomenal.
It's my favorite, dude. It's my favorite. I say this all the time. I think that I said this yesterday. As much as I love, the hardcore stuff, like the really cool, dark, gritty comics, because obviously I'm older and I enjoy that stuff. I still think we need to put stuff out there for kids so that the genre or our industry can continue. Because without the kids reading comics, how are we gonna become 45-year-old men reading comics? You understand what I'm saying? So that's where we're at, and that's where we're at with the kids comics.
Funny you said that. So when I actually got a chance to get the graphic novel, and I remember my daughter was hanging around. I'm like, hey, check this out, and she's like, no, I'm okay. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. And then like it was like 2 days later, I'm wearing the shirt. And she's like, hey, that's the book you tried to get me to read, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. She's like, can I read that? I'm like, yeah. She sat down, she read it in one go.
Wow.
One go, and she loved it.
Dude.
Loved it. I told you, I wanted to wait until we were on the show to tell you something.
Bro.
And dude, she loved it. She loved every bit of it. And man, I know she's gonna be so excited when we get this because your new Kickstarter funded in one freaking hour.
Bro, it was incredible. I did not expect any of that, dude. Now listen, don't get me wrong. I've been working on this thing for a while, and you hope that all that work bears fruit. And so I was like, all right, let's put it out there. And I know Sam was like, and even my friend Anibal Arroyo, who's also an indie, he was like, dude, that thing's gonna fund like an hour, bro. Trust me. And I was like, no, let's see what happens. Let's not get crazy. Let's just see what happens. Sure enough, we went live on our show during the launch party a couple days ago. And it went insane, dude. It funded like that. and then just yesterday, I got an email from Kickstarter. It made Project We Love. And
dude, let's go, man. Let's go, like, dude.
That's incredible. So yeah, so thanks everyone who supported, who were there the night that it went live, who's been, pledging. Thanks to you, Cody, because you really hooked it up. And I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. I can't tell you guys how.
So what is Project We Love? Like, what goes into that? How do you go about getting that?
It's been an enigma. Like, we've been trying to figure it out. We've done a few campaigns already, and we haven't been able to figure it out. Like, how do you get that little badge? And I don't know how I got it. Honestly, I don't know how I got it. I don't know, I don't know what goes into it. Some people say, you make sure that your campaign is clean and it's creative. And,
it's clean too.
they do all that stuff. So, but you don't, like, it's subjective. So I don't know what they feel is clean, what it isn't. So you kind of just do your best and see what happens. And they hooked it up, man. They gave it to us.
What does it do for you? I know you get a little badge, but like, what does it go ahead and does it like showcase you, put you on some sort of front page?
Yes. So it basically, what it does, and according to their email, it puts you like on their featured page. Like, it just shares it out. It puts you up ahead of a lot of the other stuff that's out there. Because when you're Kickstarter's got tons and tons of things up there. So basically, they say your supporters will want to hear, but he goes, You'll see a badge under the main image, and we'll feature your campaign across Kickstarter.
That is so awesome. So what sort of growth have you seen from that? I mean, you had explosive growth right off the start, but have you seen any sort of traction since you've gotten that?
Yeah. I've actually seen, they behind the scenes, they give you you got a whole tracker of things that you can look at it, and you can see where some of the pledges come from. And some of them are coming from, whether it's an email they sent out or whether it was somebody just saw it on the page. So I've gotten a few pledges that way.
That's awesome.
Which it shows that it is something that you want to strive for. And when you get it, just don't stop though, because I'm still posting. And listen, I apologize to everybody who follows me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram, but for the next 26 days, you're probably just going to see me posting just about every day. Hey, check out the campaign. So I apologize ahead of time. You're going to see a lot of that.
Dude, and I'll tell you what, there's been a couple times where I've slipped up, because I try to get good about putting the socials in the bottom. And there's been times where I've slipped up. So in post-production, 9 times out of 10, no one ever notices. And then post-production, I'll go in and I'll just like paste it. And then I'll fix it up, and then it's like it never happened. But I know there's gonna be some heat in this, so I didn't want to mess it up. I wanted to make sure it looked good right off the rip. So
thank you.
I noticed, it's funny, on your Twitter, you didn't even have your Wonder Duck campaign pinned, and like you funded it in 1 hour. What did you do to do that?
I'm a rookie. I started promoting this campaign maybe a little too far ahead. I started promoting it back in January. I had a pre-launch page, and I was just telling everybody to sign up. The thing with Kickstarter is that you don't know who signs up to your page, right? So what I did was I offered an incentive for anybody who signed up, and they let me know they signed up. I was going to send them a PDF of a print that I did, an exclusive print. It's even not available on the campaign at this point anymore. This is going to go out strictly to like the people who signed up early.
Oh, let's go, dude.
And if you pledge to the campaign once you signed up, you're going to get the printed copy of it as long as it's a physical tier that you pledge to. So that got the ball rolling. People started, just following it, following. And then when it launched, obviously the people that were following it got that email. And then we had to, I set up an events page on Facebook to invite people to come to the launch party that we were having on our Catch the Craze channel. And then people showed up. And then, we had that technical difficulty on there, which we were able to rectify thanks to Daphne Lage. Big shout out to her. She's also an indie. She helped us out. And boom, it went live. And then everybody was just so into it. I think it was one of those things where like, yo, we got to make this happen. Everybody rallied behind, and boom, we got it.
So how did that feel on the launch party to have it mess up like that? Like what went through your mind? What were you guys trying to do to troubleshoot?
Dude, I was like, you know what? Are we not gonna be able to launch tonight? Is this gonna be something that we're gonna have to do tomorrow? Like, we invited all these people and we can't get this up. So apparently it was something to do with the rewards. I offered a 48-hour bundle. So basically for the first 2 days of the campaign, you were gonna get a T-shirt, you were gonna get the graphic novel, you were gonna get the copy of the book that I did, the copy of the book that I did. And this holofoil sticker, this really cool holofoil sticker.
That is awesome too.
Yeah. So you were going to get that the first day, the first 2 days. But that was holding the whole thing up, because apparently I think I didn't have it set up as a physical tier or something like that. And so it wasn't going, man. I was like, what the hell, dude?
That's crazy. She was able to like pinpoint that so fast.
She went in, yeah. I mean, she's done tons of these, and so she's got a lot of just a lot of experience, and boom, she was able to knock it out. She did it, and I was like, thank God, man.
We have Nine Realms Publishing saying, "What's up, guys? How you doing, Realm? Welcome to the chat."
Hey, what's up? So yeah, dude, it was amazing. It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
So, wow, funded in 1 hour, and man, so before we even start diving into that Kickstarter, let's go ahead and give a small recap on who you are. This is my 40th interview, guys. My very first, man. I cannot stress that enough. If it wasn't for George, we wouldn't be here. Seriously, dude. Man.
This is amazing. Yeah, no, for everybody who's just joining now, my name is George Medina. I'm a creator, writer of comics. I do graphic novels more so, and one of the comics that I do is The Adventures of Wonder Duck, which is right now on Kickstarter. It's issue number 5 on Kickstarter, and I also have a book called Rust 5377. I forget about Rust. Poor Rust.
Poor Russ.
Poor Russ, man. So yeah, so I've been creating comics. I mean, I think and doing it like this since maybe the early 2000s. And here we are, man. I'm putting this thing together, and I'm hoping that it keeps doing as well as it's doing right now.
So when are we gonna see some more from Russ? I mean, I remember reading that. That was a really interesting concept.
Yeah, no, dude. I'm actually working on the follow up story to the book. So
we just got Michael Miller copped that weekend bundle. Speaking of that, George has a special thing he wanted to bring up.
Oh yes. All right. So Michael, listen. J. Michael Miller, sir. If you don't subscribe to the channel yet, please subscribe. That's number one. Subscribe to the channel. Number two, because you pledged on this show right now, this is a print that I am giving away to anybody who pledges on this show. And you're getting this as part of that bundle as well. As a thank you for pledging during the show, for supporting, keeping it geekly and supporting me. I'm going to send this out. Now, this is actually a locked stretch goal on the campaign. It hasn't been unlocked yet because it doesn't unlock until 4,000. But you're getting it now just for pledging on the show. So anybody else who pledges while you're watching this, boom, you're getting that. But you also have to subscribe to the channel. That's important. That's key. That is key. Subscriptions are free, guys. Subscriptions are free.
Far too kind. You are far too kind, man. For real.
We got to help each other out, man. I think shows like this are what keep other indies, going and able to promote our stuff and able to put our stuff out there. So why not, show the love back, man?
So
anytime I come on, I always tell people, subscribe to the channel while I'm on, man. Do it.
It's funny you say that because there's been a couple people who watch the show and then they meet other creators and they start interacting and they start forming their little circles together. It's been awesome seeing the growth just with everything because I kind of think of it like a circle. You feed me and then I feed you. You know what I mean? You feed me the comics and I try to help you push it out and the information is just like an endless circle and I love it. And it's crazy how everything's evolved and grown. Even your guys' podcast, Catch the Craze. Let's go ahead and give some spotlight to that too.
Yeah, so Catch the Craze is a podcast about indie creators, similar to what you're doing, Cody. And basically, we try to feature as many indie creators as we possibly can. And it's not just limited to comics. We try to do all things, all creative independence. So if you're a band, an underground, artist, as far as a singer, songwriter, if you're a puppeteer, dude, if you're a magician, anybody who's trying to come up, and you're doing this, as an indie, come on, talk about your stuff. And, we showcase you guys and make sure that you guys we get some eyes on the stuff that you're doing. It's important.
It really is because, you and Sam both said some really impactful things about it. One of the most being the voice for the unspoken heroes. I think it was something along that line, the voice for the underdogs. And I really kind of took that and ran with it because when you think about it, when you read some of these books, the biggest thing separating them from a DC is the label, is the DC in the corner or something. Sometimes it's a lot more fire because they're able to take what they want to with their vision and they're not held by any bounds, No,
it's so true, man. Sometimes you are held back by whether it's corporate, whether it's that we're not, you can't say this, you can't say that. Now, to me, freedom of speech is huge, right? As long as you're not hurting anyone, I think that you should be able to do whatever you want. And I think that's what the indie comic creator can do, right? Put whatever they want on their books and do their thing. I think that it's important that, like you said, we have somebody who gives that little guy, little girl, the voice to be able to do that. So yeah, it's fun, bro. I love doing this. I love talking to indies, dude. I love talking shop. This is what's up, man. I love doing this.
Isn't it one of the best feelings in the world when someone tells you it's their first interview?
Right.
It's all right, so I'm about to give you a standard. You're about to hold this up to everyone to come after me.
No, man, listen. When we did this back in December, and I told you that I think both air off air on the air, but I told you, man, you're a natural at this stuff. The questions you were asking were on point. and it almost sounds like you have like a very just like a curious. There's a curious nature to you. I want to know more. I want to.
So someone on Twitter was like, "You're kind of like the Joe Rogan of like indie comics." I'm like, I'll take that. I'll take that. Like, pull it up.
Okay, because it's a conversation more so than an interview. We're having a conversation, and you just happen to have questions about the stuff that I'm doing.
So my biggest thing is, if I could make this as like two bros just broing out about your comic, everyone involved is more comfortable. You're more comfortable. I can't tell you how many times people accidentally drop exclusives, or people, they get comfortable in the chat. They start backing because they're like, I really like this guy. It's a good vibe. It's a good feel.
So it's perfect.
Give us a little bit of a recap. In December, where were we with the Adventures of Wonder Duck, and what's happened since?
Yeah. So in December, when I spoke to you, I was finishing up the 5th chapter. So I was finishing up this guy, and I have just this is the cover that I did. So I was finishing up the book, and what I was doing was I was trying, and that's a proof actually. So I was trying to get proofs ready, but I was finishing up the book. I was lettering it. I was doing that part of it because the first 4 chapters are what you have there on your desk. That's the first 4 chapters of the book. So. And it ends. So this is relevant to what happens at the end of it. So you're like, oh, that makes sense. So chapter 5 now picks up from that point. And I was working on that. I was putting that together. By the time I launched the pre-launch page in January, I was very close to being able to just send this thing to the printer. And by the time I think February came along, I started sending out the proofs. So because I wanted to have the book done before the campaign launched. Because I didn't want anybody waiting for books or anything like that. Now I can't control like some of the printing problems that they're having, whether it's paper shortage. So I wanted to get ahead of it as much as I possibly could. So I printed up as much as I possibly could. I had a schedule, and so that's where I've been since. And then when the campaign hit on the 4th, I already had 2 out of the 3 covers that I'm putting out together. Like as far as the proofs. The 3rd one, which is the main cover, is coming tonight. So that's what I've been doing, man. I've been just hustling, grinding, and then making sure that I was getting the word out, and letting people know, hey, this campaign exists on Kickstarter.
Are you writing and doing the art, or do you have an artist for chapter 5?
I wrote the book. The same guys, the same studio that did part 1 came back to do part 2. The only difference is that back when they started this book in like 2014, they were called Big Cat Studios. Now they're called Studio 9 Lives. So they've changed the name, but they
kept the same like little thing though. I like
mantra,
that.
Yeah, the theme, right? The cat theme. But they've expanded, and listen, the studio is based out of the Philippines, but they've worked on animations like Castlevania. So
that's awesome.
They've done some big stuff. If you guys make sure you follow them, they're on Instagram, Studio 9 Lives, and they also have a website called studio9lives.com. It's really easy. So check that out. They're incredible. There's so much talent out there. They're incredible artists, and so they jump on board, and they're continuing the rest of the run. So I have issue 5 through 8 will finish the second part of that saga. So This is chapter 5. So what I'm doing, and part of the funding that I'm looking for is obviously to print and to get this book out, chapter 5 out to you. But anything above what I've already made is going to go towards putting, just funding the rest of the chapters 6 through 8, which they're already done penciling and inking 6. They're in the coloring phase of that. And
wow.
So I'm hoping to have that done by next year, the entire thing by the end of next year.
So are you funding this completely just from like the success of previous Kickstarters or out of pocket? I mean, you're putting a lot of work before,
yes.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm gambling on myself. I'm putting.
It's a good gamble though, man.
Yeah, I'm paying for everything out of pocket right now, hoping to get some of this stuff back. It may not be the smartest thing. I think people, business people be like, yo, dude, what are you doing? But I've been doing this for a while, and I've been funding it on my own for a while, and I'm hoping that whatever I'm doing now with the Kickstarter will help me kind of recoup some of that money. And but I've been funding it myself, and this hopefully will help me recoup.
Well, you are almost literally 200% of your goal in 4 days.
Incredible,
like,
bro.
Wow, dude.
It really is incredible. It really is incredible.
So what kind of number are you looking for to kind of help you get that back? If you're able to talk about it.
Yeah, no, the magic number for me with everything that I put out into it already, I'm looking at about 4,000. So hopefully we'll get there, which is why the last stretch goal was that 4,000 stretch goal. Anything above that would be incredible, would be just gravy, and it would be, but hopefully we'll get there. We got a few days.
So what was the $1,000 goal for? Was that just to get it printed?
Just printing, yeah.
I got you.
Just printing, yeah, just printing.
I heard easier to reach goals are easier to get funded too. You know what I mean? Obviously, but like the more attainable the goal, the easier it is to excel it too. Because that first push is like really important. What are you planning on doing with like the plateau period, the in between? I heard that's one of the roughest.
These things. Yeah. I have a few interviews lined up, and so I'm hoping to do this. And then I'm going a little outside the box. I mean, it sounds crazy, like giving away prints and stuff like that. But I think that there's something about, hey, I get more if I do this. Like, there's just something about giveaways, right? I think everybody likes to give away. And I'm not giving away. I think this is beautiful, bro. Like, to me, this isn't junk. Like,
you're gonna have to stop showing me. I'm gonna need it right now.
Yeah, dude. So I was just like, you know what? Let me do some of that stuff. Let me try to think outside the box. Obviously, the posting and Instagram is huge, Facebook, the lives, all that stuff. I think you have to use everything at your disposal. Family, friends, just tell somebody, share it. So
I mean, when you break it down though, that print, like you already paid the cost to get it drawn up and everything. You just have to pay to get it printed. That could essentially get you like a $35 bundle. So I mean, that initial cost was a lot, but the potential of that giveaway is unlimited. I mean, it's a genius move. I mean, because you're not giving out like 100 per show, but in return, like some of those pledges could definitely be knocking that goal like up higher and higher and higher. So I mean, I love that approach. It's like the first time I've ever seen someone offer to do one, and like within like 2 seconds you had one. Like it's working.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, that was amazing, and that was the goal. If I can get at least one pledge per show, bro, I'm happy. So that you don't feel like, damn, I went on all these shows and nothing happened. Like, because you can get down like that, and it happens. We're human, Like when we don't succeed, we kind of try to get down. But I'm trying to just keep it going.
But in that aspect too, even if you don't get a pledge, you might get someone like me, like who's like on you for the rest of your career and liking and retweeting and supporting, and vice versa. I got someone like you in my corner, and like, dude, that type of connection's invaluable.
Oh, dude, it's so invaluable, and the fact that you're wearing the T-shirt right now, that just I appreciate you, bro. And listen, that was my whole thing too. Is like, if I almost look at it as if I'm going to your house, I want to bring gifts. So I was happy to do it and just say, hey, dude, rock it out. And
dude, wait, man, I got some Keeping It Geekly merch behind the scenes that's popping up.
Yes, all right, I can't wait. But yeah, so that's what's been going on since then, and that was the whole mindset behind what I'm going to do through the lull period. Is just when I get on the shows, just try to have some of these giveaways and things like that.
So how many shows do you have planned? Like what would you say would be a good number for someone out there to kind of shoot for? Because podcasts are important. Getting your voice heard is important because you're essentially selling yourself over and over to new audiences. Yeah. But like, what's a good number for you, would you say? Because you are on both ends of it, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think for me, because listen, I do have like a 9-to-5 job, and I do have certain things. I think for me, what's worked for me on this one, I have about 12 lined up, right? So like, that's about 4 per week that I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 per week. It averages out to about 3 per week. I have 4 weeks of the campaign, 3 per. People have said, hey, do as many as you possibly freaking can, man. Try to be on one every freaking night that you are promoting this thing. So, you're looking at a 30-day campaign, that's 30 shows. Mm-hmm. The issue with that, I think sometimes you tend to burn yourself out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to burn because I'm a one-man show, right? So I have to do my own, just little thumbnails, the graphics, I'm out here posting on Facebook, posting on Instagram. So you get burned out, dude. Like, and what I try to do is I try to have a lot of that stuff done ahead of schedule. So like, even like the little thumbnail that I posted today, I've been posting it. The one that I shared with you, I shared that with you maybe like a week ago or 2. Yeah, so I had a bunch of them already done, so that when it's time, when those shows are coming up, boom, I just post that one, and now I don't have to worry about creating one. So I try to stay ahead of the game. I'm trying to plan ahead as much as I possibly can, because I know when these shows go on, I just want to be able to have the information and put it out, you know? So yeah, so that's how it's been, dude. That's how it's been.
I think it's really important to pre-plan that too. I would say one of my biggest shortcomings in the beginning of doing all these interviews was like, I would set up the StreamYard link the day of. Like literally, I remember our first interview, I didn't even know what StreamYard was. And like it took me probably about 20 of people being like, hey, you got that link yet? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, maybe I should make this like a week before and have it ready to go. You know, and I remember hitting you up the day before and I'm like, hey, give you that nice little thing. And I'm like, dude, this is like, it's nice feeling professional, like having this ready to go. And you were like, dude, did you send me an email about, and I'm like, no, like, so Calendarly is like doing that for me, like alerting people the day before.
That's amazing. I was like, wait a minute, we just spoke. Because it didn't sound like you, right? But it's professional. So I was like, wait a minute, did you send me, like, was that spam? But no, it worked out. I think that is great. I think that what
he's like, is Cody two different people? What's going on now?
It's Cody, what's going on? See, Moon Knight?
I need to throw in like a grammar error or something in there.
No, but yeah, no, it works. It works. I think for me personally, and again, this is what works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. People are different, right? But for me, it works. It works for me to stay ahead of everything. Like that works for me. And it's worked for me on this campaign. The fact that I was ahead of everything has definitely worked, and it's the reason why I have the funding and all that other stuff. It's because I feel comfortable in like, okay, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do this. So that's worked.
So before we dive into the Kickstarter, and since we're on the topic of social media, anytime I talk to a creator and I see a room for like areas of like opportunity for new like creators to learn from, this one seems like a really good one. What type of social media posting would you say was like is the most like advantage to like I don't know even if I use that word correctly, but which one had the most advantage for you to like get your reach out there the most? Like what type of posts should these indie comic creators be doing, because a lot of people just are robotic with it.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of different things, because when you're doing this, I think you should ask a lot of questions. Number one, don't be afraid to seek people out and say, hey, what did you do? What worked for you? What worked for you? Because everybody's different, right? Like I said before. But the one thing that I heard a lot of people say was try not to post on the same network, on the same social network, like constantly every single day. So like what I did was I alternated my posts. So if I posted on Facebook today, I wouldn't post on Facebook tomorrow. I'd use Instagram that day. And sometimes I'd say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna post on Twitter today, combine that with Facebook at the same time, because you know how you can link all that together and then post there. So I try to alternate where I was posting, but still posting every day. So I was still doing it every day, just to different social networks, What
type of hashtags have been working for you,
dude? So I've tried to start the hashtag Get Your Meds, because that's the brand, right? So I've been doing that. I did a lot of hashtags Kickstarter, just so that if it's obviously if people are looking for Kickstarters, it would come up under their feed. I was using launch. I was using campaign. I was using like different words like that. Obviously, the Adventures of Wonder Duck, I was using that hashtag. Now I'm using the hashtag Project We Love, because they encourage to use
dude,
it.
That feels good, doesn't it? That feels awesome.
Yeah, dude. So I'm using that. So anything you can think of, man. I try to get creative with some of them. Just some funny hashtags that I would throw out there. Do a quack quack or something like that, because it's Wonder Duck. And play with that. So yeah, different things. I think that you see what works for you. I think what happens though is you have to be consistent. Be consistent with it. There are going to be days where I don't know what to post. Try to find, and that's why I set my posts ahead of schedule, because I know there are going to be days where I'm like, I know they would post. But if I have that post, in my back pocket, I can just go into my drafts in your, and I think Instagram does that. I don't know if any other of them do that, where you can just draft your post and then put it out later on. So I've got a lot of posts that I've drafted that will come out later on. So I've tried different things like that. I've tried to play around with it.
It definitely sounds like having kind of just a small little amount of posts just ready to go. Just kind of like open-ended ones, I guess, like maybe like a question or something, could be really valuable to do. I know for me, I try to branch out onto other ones, but Twitter is just like, it's hard to like break away from. And that's a little, I'm not a creator, I'm more of like a consumer. So that's kind of where I reach the most people. But I know like for instance, like Dan Price like has like a killing over on Instagram. And I see so many people like they love Instagram or they hate it. And I think it really just depends on how you utilize it, you know.
Absolutely.
If you're just posting like once a week versus posting every other day, you know, that you're going to see a lot different like growth and reaction from it.
You know what I've heard is funny, because what I've heard is that Twitter is used more by the writers in the industry, like the indie creative writers, because there's not so many, it's not a visual medium, it's just, you know, you type in and you're sending. So a lot of writers like Twitter, whereas artists like Instagram, because it's all visual. Everything is a visual on Instagram. It's just a photo or a story or something like that.
And I can't draw, so that's why I like Twitter.
There you go. Yeah, dude, and that's the thing, like because I have, and I'm thankful that I have so much material on WonderDuck, I can create just posts from the panels on my book. Yeah. So on the if you guys follow the Adventures of WonderDuck on Instagram, if you go to that page, it's very neat. Like everything is just 3 panels, or 3. You know how it's a grid. So the grid is always 3, and it forms one image. So
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so I've managed to be able to do that. But again, and big shout out to my girlfriend who was like, this needs to be a little more cohesive, because she looked at my other one, my Get Your Meds, and it's like, this is a mess. But she said, try something different, try this. And big shout out to her, because and so back in August when I first launched it, dude, I was just creating these things, and I had like a library of these. So every Wednesday I was just posting new ones out, 3 a day. And, you know, just putting it out there and just seeing what happened. It's, you know, it's growing, not as fast as I'd like it to, but it's growing. And you know what? And you guys just keep doing it, man. It's not gonna happen overnight. Sometimes it does, and when it does, that's great. But you just gotta keep grinding.
Well, the thing is, like, if you're not doing it, then it's not doing it.
Yeah, right.
You have to do it to do it. Like for me, I post on Twitter. I literally looked at my my algorithm analytics the other day, and I had 1,000 tweets in 1 month. But I looked, and I had it was like 1,200 tweets, but I had 1,000 mentions. So I'm like, I'm getting mentioned 1,000 times. Like, dude, it was insane. My reach was pretty decent. I loved it. We got Dr. Hino 419 in chat popping in and say hi, and then J. Michael Miller saying he prefers Twitter as well. I don't know. For me, I like both. I think there's benefits in both. I think it's just how you utilize it. Facebook though just seems like it's so hard. That seems to be the one that you have to pay for it basically to get the algorithm reach.
Yeah, seriously, and you do, and not even. You know, they say, oh, you can put a $25 ad. That $25 ad is not going to do anything for you, man. It's not going to do anything for you. So it's crazy.
I remember when I first started doing my podcast where I covered mainstream comics and 3 pieces of news, I'd get 11 views per video. And then I would pay like the $5 or whatever, and I would get 300. And that's how I knew. It's like, dude, they purposely throttle you so they can make a few bucks. Like, come on.
Yes. And now it's hard to do that. It's hard to get those views now unless you're paying more than that.
But speaking of that, let's get you some views on this campaign. I think it's a perfect time to transition to this Kickstarter. So we're going to be busting down the Adventures of WonderDuck and Nothing to Muse. We have Dismake Comics saying those Facebook ads really don't do anything and their ad editing has changed for worse. I would agree on that. I would say, dude, it's a nightmare. And especially if you mess up, then you have to like delete it and redo it.
I agree, man. I agree. So this is the page. Just start scrolling up a little bit. So, all right. So I see that I have 53 backers, and I thank you guys so much. What I'm going to be doing, right? And this is going to hold me accountable. Now I have to finish the second part by next year, because what I want to do, and I put together this little card. Basically, what I'm going to do is for every 25 backers I get, I'm going to randomly choose backers, and I'm gonna add this to your package. So I'm gonna send it out, and one of these is gonna be randomly selected in one of your packages. If you receive this, if you open up your package with the day you get it, and you're like, oh, I got the congratulations, thank you card, you can find me at any place where I'm gonna be, whether it's a convention, any appearance I'm gonna make. Come up to me, say, George, I have this, and I will give you part 2. So I'll give you one, I'll give you the next chapter.
The Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the next chapter. So the more pledges I get, in increments of 25, the more chances for somebody to win this and to have it in their package when they receive it, when they open it up. So that's something else I'm also doing. So right now I have to do at least 2 of these. So at least 2 people are going to be getting, out of the 53, at least 2 will be getting the golden ticket to the to part 2. So that means I have to have my stuff together by next year. So it's holding me accountable to finish everything I got to finish for next year. So that's going to be kind of a drive for me. It'll be a driving force for me. But going back to the campaign, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of the devil, we got Dan Price in the chat right now, waving hi. How you doing, Dan? Welcome.
What's going on, Dan? Welcome. Big shout out to Dan, man. Dan's got that book, man.
Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Bigfoot Knows Karate.
I love it,
dude. It's so good.
Love it.
It is so
I
good.
I just got my package. I want to say a couple of days ago. It was my first comic book unboxing.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to get better at this. I'm trying to get like into that swing, like doing pull quotes, doing like the unboxing. It's fun, dude. I'm loving it. I can't wait to do the unboxing for this though. You funded in 1 freaking hour, man.
Oof,
God,
man.
dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm still excited about it, dude. I'm still excited about it. I don't know. I've played this video before. You mind if I play it?
Yeah. Just make sure when you go to play it, click the full screen in the corner, so that way it gives us the biggest picture possible. Yeah, dude. J. Michael Miller, that is a fantastic idea. The golden ticket for issue 2. I love it.
Yeah, man.
So it said, hold on, that didn't work. It's giving us a click to exit full screen.
Did it work?
If you just maybe not click on the full screen, just play it like that. For whatever reason, when you went to full screen it said click from exit, so it just had like it just said click to exit instead of the video.
All right, so let me see if I can just let's see. It's not even giving me the option to restart it. Okay. Hang on, let me refresh. Oh yeah, technical difficulties, baby.
It's all good. It's all good, man. We're filled with them today.
Yeah, dude. I'm filled with them. It happens all the time here now.
My mic wasn't even picking up for half of the talk in the beginning.
All right, let's try one more time here. Let's do this.
And we are good. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn you down. The audio was what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in there and put audio in to make it a little louder. But I try to max it out so the people could hear it better. But then your voice is maxed out, so when you go to talk, it was.
that track was done by Morgan Quaid. He had a book, he had a Kickstarter, and one of his pledges was he was a musician also. So he was like, anybody who pledges to the campaign, I will do a theme song for you. So
how much was the pledge?
I happen to win any pledge. Yeah, you can pledge at whatever level. Yeah. So I pledged, it was like a physical. I think it was like a physical level. You had to pledge to maybe minimum of $25.
That's not bad though.
Dude, and so I won it, and boom, he did this funny freaking theme song. And I asked him for I wanted what I kind of wanted, and he did it, and I was like, all right, that works. I love the quack quack, so I was like, I'm going with it. I'm going. It's awesome. But yeah, so this is the campaign. Basically, it's to fund, like I said to you guys earlier, the 5th issue of the book. The first 4 chapters are in that graphic novel, and this is chapter 5, Nothing to Muse. So at this point, the last time we saw Dr. Muse was at the beginning of the pages of the last one. And he's captured because he's accused of treason. He's supposed to be creating these battle suits, and instead of creating them for the home team, he decides he's going to create it for somebody else who is the enemy of his planet. And when he gets caught, he decides, I got to get rid of this evidence, and he throws it out into space. Now, what I did with the campaign is I did this little recap. And the way I did the recap was it was like a previously on the Adventures of Wonder Dog, it's that kind of thing. where like you kind of go into, and it kind of tells you a little bit of what happened. So here's Dr. Muse creating the suit. They come in to arrest him. He gets rid of it. It leaves the planet. You know, Duke Dolby, who's our Clark Kent in this story, gets hit in the head with it. The suit merges with him, and he becomes Wonder Duck. Now, the Doctor gets caught. He gets trapped. You know, there's a conflict in the planet that he's actually started, and now they don't know what to do, and that's kind of like where we are, and that's where it says "and now." So this
I really like the preview page, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Is that going to be that's in the book?
That's in the book. So
yeah, I think
pages. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's such an awesome, like, because I see that every now and then, but anytime I do see it, I always think it's such an awesome thing to do. Because for me, one of the hardest things, like getting a chapter 5 is like what happened in the other 4. Like I have to buy the other 4, but sometimes, you know, I can't afford to. So having that recap is something that like helps flesh out that world building so much more. So I really like that idea, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And sometimes what I've seen it, and I'm sure people have done it this way, but what I've seen is always just a real quick written recap of what happened the last. And because it's a visual medium, I figured, you know what, let me just throw images into it. So what I did was I put together all of these images from the pages of the book that you're holding, right? So I just kind of cut out and pasted some of these and try to make as much sense of it as I possibly could.
Was it hard condensing? Because I'm sure you had so many favorite moments. Like, was it hard choosing which ones that went on because you only had 2 pages?
I did, but what I did was I outlined it. So I said, okay, what is part 5 going to be about? Because if you notice, whenever you see a previously on kind of like recap on any show that you're watching, they basically cut out and give you the recap for whatever is going to be pertinent to this episode.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So you don't see as much Wonder Duck in that recap. You only see like almost like his origin story, and then it's all about Dr. Muse, who's in shackles. Because that's what this story is going to be about. It's going to be about Dr. Muse.
I love the play on his name too. Nothing Muse. I loved it so much, dude.
Muse. Yeah. So then I did what I did was I added a couple of preview pages for everybody to just check out some of the beautiful artwork that they've done. These are fully lettered, obviously, pages. Radimus Fink there, Garb, some of the bad guys that you've met before. If you picked up the other books, you know who they are. But here you also get to know a little bit of them. I try to use their names as soon as you see them, so that even if you haven't read the book, okay, that's Radimus. Oh, that's who this is. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So a lot of that is strategic to doing that kind of stuff. But I figured I'd give you 5 pages of previews, ending with like, you know, what's going to happen to Muse. You know what I mean? And boom. And then I ended there. And then you have the weekend bundle. Yeah, then you have the weekend bundle, which is what J. Michael just picked up. And this is going on from now until, well, it started like yesterday, but until Sunday. I was telling you during our launch party that I couldn't launch it. And originally I wanted to make it a 2-day bundle, but the 2 days, you know, I had lost a lot of the 2 days. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to extend it throughout the weekend. So until Sunday night, you guys are going to be able to get this bundle, which is basically the first 4 chapters, the 88-page graphic novel, a t-shirt, which is what we're wearing.
And the shirt looks damn good too. And with the
yeah, and then this guy, and then you're going to get a copy of this cover, which is the cover I did. I haven't picked up a pencil in years, and so I'm doing this cover. I did this cover for the book, and you're going to get the little holofoil sticker.
I loved his hand, like reaching up from the rubble. Like, what made you go with that direction?
It's a scene inside the book. So basically, if you've read chapters or the first 4 chapters, you know that at the end of the chapter, he's fighting this big ape, you know what I mean, that's coming out to get him. And so, but you don't know what happens to him. So this cover basically explains, you know, he's coming out. So Wonder Duck still alive, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, the hero's still alive. And so that's what kind of like the whole concept behind the cover was.
How did it feel brushing the dust off the pencil?
Oh, dude, it's scary, man. Because listen, I'm not an artist like that. I used to love drawing when I was younger, but I could never draw realistic comics. You know, I could never draw Batman, Superman, that stuff. So I developed this cartoony style, and so that's where I went. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it, man. Let me just do it. This is my Kickstarter. It's my book. Why not? Let me just go in there and do what I got to do. There's no editor saying this is crap. I'm like, let's just do it. And I have fun doing it, man. I enlisted the help of Alex Rivera, who's an inker. He's done a lot of inking. He's actually done some inking behind the scenes for some Marvel titles and stuff like that. That you may have not heard his name because he's like a ghost inker. But he's an amazing talent. He does everything traditionally, so he did that traditionally. And then Victor Claudio, a buddy of mine, he colored it for me, and he did an incredible job.
We got Dan saying it's a great cover. I gotta agree. Thanks, I love it too.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And then this is what we were talking about earlier, and I know we're going a little long here. I apologize.
Oh no! I don't work until 4, so let's go.
So this is my favorite. I guess tier. So real quick, I tell you about. I created this book back in the 90s, and I'm a huge kid at heart, and like I told you before, I love all the hardcore stuff, and even I still love to watch like the cartoons, like the Super Friends and X-Men, from '90s and stuff like that. I was a big fan of that stuff. I gravitated to the Garfields and the Dennis the Menaces and the and the Captain Caveman and Inspector Gadget and those cartoons from way back in the day. So the Disney Afternoon was big for me. So that's where kind of and DuckTales and all that stuff, and that's where I kind of started wanting to do this kind of stuff. But I was a kid, and I remember doing that as a kid and reading these stories and watching these cartoons, and I wanted to inject some of that back. So I linked up with Comic Books for Kids, and this is a non-for-profit organization based out of Chicago. And basically what they do is they link up with hospitals, with kids who are in hospitals, and they send these comic books out to the kids.
That's so awesome, dude. I love it.
Something to take their mind off of whatever it is they're going through. So this is my favorite tier right here. Like, if you guys pledge to this tier, the kids get 5 books, and sometimes I always say picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm gonna just show you this. So this is what they get. So for $35, the kids get 5 copies of the book of cover A. So they're gonna get 5 of these books sent out to the to the hospitals. And if enough people pledge, we're looking at getting at least 100 books out there. Right now, I think 3 people have pledged to this one. So we're looking at 15 books already that are going to go to them. But what I'm also doing is they get 5 books, and then you get a book also, because I don't want you not to get a book.
Yeah.
So you get a book, and you get to choose between covers A, B, or C. A being the cover for the book, B being this cover right here, which is an homage cover to issue number 300 of Amazing Spider-Man that Todd McFarlane did. So you can choose between A, B, or C. So you can choose the cover you want.
How much is a shirt and graphic novel add-on?
Add-on, I'll show you. Let me just scroll up. $15 each. So the tees are $15, and then the graphic novel is $15. So if you wanted to add that on to the campaign, you always can. A la carte.
Anyone that gets that 5 comics for children, I will buy you personally the graphic novel and the shirt. That was the one I got because I already had the graphic novel and shirt, so I wanted to get something for the children. So anyone, because we're still gonna run this show, so even after the show, if you end up getting it and you reach out, I will throw that back because you're throwing something towards me, so I want to throw it back. And I think
you're the man.
Dude, you guys are the man. This is anything that helps children. For me, seriously, for Twitch streaming.
I love it. Yeah, I agree.
When we first talked, I had blue hair. That was raising money for children.
Okay.
I had pink hair. I helped someone fighting cancer, doing charity drives over on Twitch, raising a couple hundred. I got the yellow hair. We raised 530 for the children of Ukraine. So anytime there's something for the children, I am just I'm there, I am there.
It's important, dude. It's really important, man. I think that, these kids are going through so much, and if they can have something that's going to take their minds off of whatever it is they're going through, they're children, man. Why not? Let's do it. Let's help them out. So yeah, this is a great, this is my favorite tier, dude. This is really my favorite tier out of all the tiers that we're doing. This is my favorite one. So, and I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you so much for that.
No. That's nothing at all. If it's the least I could do, if it can help some kids out there, like you, man, it's a remarkable thing you guys are doing.
No, I appreciate that. And then, obviously we have the stretch goals. The stretch goals, I'm nearing this one, 2000. I think I'm not too far away from the 2000 mark. You unlock this stretch goal, which is an 8x10 print of the Army. I call it the Army print. So basically this is a scene out of the book. Radimus Fink is trying to take over the planet, and this is the army that he wants to do it with. And these are basically clones of Wonder Duck that Dr. Muse helped create. But he enlisted the help of this guy right here, which is Dr. Adele, who he basically used to work with back in the days, and they had a little problem because Adele realized this guy's nuts. He wants to just take over planets. I don't want to do that, but he's forcing him to do it, and he's using bait, and you'll see it in the pages of the book. So this is getting, hopefully will get unlocked hopefully over the weekend, and then obviously everybody who pledges to a physical tier will get this added to their package when I deliver it to them. My friend Sam Vera did the Superman homage right here.
Ooh, he did a killer job.
Yeah, he did a good job, man. He gave him muscles. He gave
dude, made him swole.
Yeah, he's swole, baby. I wondered I hit the gym with this one. So it's a really cool homage cover that he did after Tony Harris from 2003, who did a cover for Superman. So that's what this is, and so that's gonna get unlocked at 3,000. And like I mentioned earlier, this one is still locked. It unlocks at 4,000. But if you pledge during the show, and if you make sure you subscribe to the channel, you gotta subscribe to the channel. You get this print.
Thank you.
Also added to your pledge. So those are the stretch goals. And then I try to explain this as much as possible to anybody who's never been on Kickstarter, don't know what Kickstarters are or crowdfunding is. I try to just explain to you what it is. But if you want things a la carte and you're like, you know what, that pledge doesn't have what I want, but I want to add maybe another physical copy because I want to keep one closed and I want to read the other one, or I want to give one to my kid, but I want to keep one in posterity so it doesn't get damaged. You can add them. You have the physical copies you can add for $5 each. The prints you can add if you want, $10 each. The hollow foil sticker, the trading card, which is gold. It's like a gold foil around Wonder Duck there.
Oh, that's gonna look so good.
That comes in gold. Yeah, so that I'm printing out. There's a limit of 500 of these that I'm printing out. So that's good. That's available. Obviously, you can get the tees. Now the tees also come in different colors. You have white, red, blue, and yellow. So if you want not just the black, if you want another color, you can. I have them in male and female and youths. So if you want them for the kids, definitely, you can order that. And then obviously the 88 page graphic novel. So that's that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with the rewards. They're off to the side. It's very basic. You can get the comic. You can get the different covers.
So what was was that one of your favorite? The homage you did?
Dude, I love Amazing Spider-Man. Like he's my guy. Like I love Amazing Spider-Man. And my friend Joe Holly, who's the artist on this book, and you'll see their names at the bottom. He was like, dude, what if we do an homage to Amazing Spider-Man number 300? I was like, done.
You're like, yes.
So let's go. Glad you mentioned that.
When we did our interview, we were both getting ready to see No Way Home. What was your thoughts?
Yes.
I mean, we don't have to spoil it, but did you like it?
I loved it, dude. I loved it. I mean, being a Spider-Man geek, bro, I think that they did the fans right. Like it was
I shrieked in theaters. I was like, and I was like,
There were so many leaks like before the what you call it, and even though you knew some of that may happen, when it actually happened, I was like, I still felt, you know what I mean? I still felt it. So yeah, no, I loved it. So that's why I did that. So that's a cover that you also get the print for the $20. And then as the dollar amounts increase, you still so for $30 you get all 3 covers, and then you get a print. You know what I mean? And then obviously there's the one for the kids here. And then for $50 you get a t-shirt, hollow foil, and the graphic novel, and the trading card. So the trading card is the big thing in this one, is that you get that trading card here. And then for $100, what I did was you get everything in the campaign, but I added this little flash drive. And I'm a writer, and sometimes I'll go into a library and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot my laptop, like an idiot, because but I want to type something out, so I'll have a bunch of flash drives with me. I'll plug it into the computer and just type it out, save it, and go home. So I figured, let me add that to it.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's 2 gigs. I mean, obviously with the way graphics are today, 2 gigs is almost nothing. But if you're writing something, if you're a writer, this is good. This is good for you. So I threw that in there. And then obviously this is the team. I mean, these are the guys. Studio 9 Lives. I gave you guys a quick bio of everybody here. Joe Holly, cover B. Look at that stud. Alex Rivera, my man right here. Victor Claudio, amazing colorist. He's also an artist. Sambera, obviously, look at this guy. Look at the dreamy eyes.
Yeah, look at the chiseled chin too. He shaved them. He ain't got the beard anymore.
You got Hector He Rodriguez. You guys gotta follow him. He's the artist on that print that I keep pulling up. This is him. And then Sean Lee is the colorist on it, dude. This dynamic duo, bro, they killed this piece.
Yes, dude. I can't wait. I did a little shadow box for Sam for Alien Matrix. I remember asking him, like, what's your favorite cover? He said the Matrix one. And I was like, all right, bet. I got that, and I put it up on the wall, and I can't wait to have Wonder Duck like right next to it.
Dude, thanks, man. And then speaking of Sam, he's got a pre-launch page up now for this, and then my toilet part 2. So there's a catch-up tier, obviously, in this one. So if you didn't get the first one, you can always sign up for it. It's launching May 31st.
Aren't you guys doing something like if you back both projects?
Correct. Yeah. So if you back one, obviously the Adventures of Wonder Duck, and then you back his campaign when it launches, he's got a magnet, a really cool magnet that he did, like a refrigerator magnet that he's giving away for anybody who's backed both campaigns. So you can check that out and do that. And then I know you love this for the kids stuff here, Cat and Piggy Girl by Russell Allen. That's a campaign that's going on right now. Again, this is also linked to comic books for kids, and this is just a comic book about these two characters called Cat and Piggy Girl. It's based on his kids. His kids have these 2 stuffed animals, and they call them Cat and Piggy Girl. So he turned them into a comic.
That's awesome, dude. I bet they love it.
Yeah. They love it. They love it. Yeah. So that's it, man. That's the campaign in a nutshell. I gotta stop sharing here for us.
Right,
but yeah, that's the campaign, dude. That's what it is. Hopefully you guys pledge to it, and again, if you pledge on the show, what I'm gonna do is at the end of the campaign, you're gonna get a survey from me. I'll ask on the survey, hey, which show were you watching when you pledged, or were you watching any of these shows when you pledged? And I'll have a list of the shows. Honor system, I'll believe you. You know what I mean? But I also have to see the numbers, so I have to see subscriptions. I have to see that the subs went up in some of these channels. So I know you're at 490 when we started this, Cody. So I want to see where we are by the time the campaign ends, and hopefully
we have J. Michael Miller saying he sat up in the seat, almost stood up during the brick through the window. I did too. So I had an idea that he was gonna be there because I seen the leak.
Yeah.
But the second it was just like, and he's like, "How do you do that?" He's like, "I'm really good at my job." I'm like,
you, I love it. It was great.
For anyone that is watching that's might be on the fence about backing this, what would you like to say to them directly to kind of help push them over that fence?
If anything, if you don't feel comfortable pledging to this campaign or anything like that, or aren't really into comics, don't want to do anything like that, I would say, if not for you, pledge to the tier for the kids, right? For that one, for the comic books for kids. I think that is huge. I definitely want to just spread the word out, and hopefully get some of this to some of the kids that are out there that maybe don't have access to it. Yeah. But if you're on the fence about it, I totally get it. Hey, listen, it's crowdfunding. Where's my money going to? Trust me. What I'm also doing is Mark Wise is sending out. He's gonna be sending out a letter with the letterhead from Comic Books for Kids as part of the tier for when you pledge. So you're gonna get like an official letter from them.
That is so cool too.
Yeah. So that listen, I can't force you to do anything.
You're literally buying 5 comics for 5 kids, and then you're getting a free one for yourself. It's basically how it works, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not. There's a lot of. And listen, printing and not printing, but shipping costs a lot of money. I'm not charging shipping on this particular pledge. I'll cover the shipping. I don't care. You know what I mean? So I'll leave that. So that tier doesn't have any shipping. So 35 is 35. When I say 35, then 35 is what it is. And we're sending it out to them. So yeah.
Man, I definitely gotta give it up to you and Sam, just for your work with like that type of thing. I remember talking to Sam about it, and everything, and just like how you guys are just like champions for those who are struggling, and you just try and provide that little bit of relief. Sam with his like games for children, like in his books and stuff, and everything.
Oh yeah,
that was
awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome too. Do you guys have any plans on like ever making these two meet? Duty
Yes.
and Wonder Dog, you know?
Yeah, there are crossover ideas that we've been mulling around. So as soon as things start dying down a little bit, we're gonna have something like that put together. I've actually done. There's a few artists and there's a few just creators who are wanting to do like crossovers. I have one that it's actually in the works already. We finished. I'm just waiting for it to be colored. For John Coates, he created a character called Bionic Caveman. And so Bionic Caveman and Wonder Dog do have a crossover that's going to be coming out.
Awesome,
hopefully by next summer we'll have something out.
How's that feel to have your character finally breaking off into different universes?
It's so cool, man. It is so cool. So what I'm doing is I'm writing the story, and then I wrote the story and he drew it. So combining, and I like to say, hey, so what is your character about, kind of thing. So I don't steer away from what the character's about. Obviously, we're gonna get the integrity of their character as well. So it worked out, and I can't wait. And I'm looking forward because I want to do that with Duty. And I want to do that with a few other characters out there for some of the guys that I'm working.
How's it feel? Like, I remember when the first time we talked about like your beginning with books and comics, and how like Sam had to kind of like tug you back into it, and now you're on your 5th chapter. You're having your character break in the different universes, like all of this because you decided to get back into it. How's that feel?
Well, so here it is. I never really left. Sam left. I never left. I stayed in. I stayed in the game. And but I sometimes it's hard, dude. It's hard to keep going, though. It really is. But I love this, dude. I love this too much. Even when I stop at any point just writing or whatever, I'm like, yo, what am I doing, dude? I need to do this, and so I go back into it. But yeah, it's so rewarding, dude. It's like you have a 9 to 5 and you have regular life. And then you escape into these worlds, and that's what it is. It's an escape. It's an escape into these worlds.
It's almost like that 9 to 5 is kind of like your break. You know what I mean? Like this is like what you're like for me, like when I'm doing this, like I'm at it all day, and then when I go to work, it's like whew, I can take a break from it. Like I can go out and be productive, like in the real world. Like
it's so true, dude. It is so true. But yeah, so I'm hoping that the campaign continues its success and see what happens.
So. This is kind of like my first time ever doing this. Usually when I talk to someone, I ask them like their thoughts on what they could do to tell someone to kind of push through, like if they're struggling. But you're my first official returning indie comic creator. So let's do things a little different. What would be your advice for anyone that's already published a first book and they're looking to start working on the second one? Like what would be some advice you'd give them to help make that second one just as successful as the first?
I think it's about... I think as creatives, sometimes we try to focus on just the creative side of it. And if you can find somebody, whether it's a publisher that can just do all of that other stuff for you, or a publicist, or somebody that can help you take on that challenge, I suggest you do that. But don't ever forget, if you decide to be a one-man, I say one-man show, but like a one-person show, if you decide to be that, then make sure that you're doing all of it, not just the creative side of it. Make sure that you understand business, you understand marketing, you understand all of that stuff, because you have to bring all of that into whatever it is you're doing. You can't just sit back and say, hey, I'm just an artist or I'm just a writer. At this point, if you're trying to do this, you're everything. You're all of it. And you gotta take it, and you gotta own it and do it, and just push yourself. I know it's hard. Push yourself, or get some help. Get somebody that can help you do it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. What's the average day look like for someone running it as a one-man show? Oh man, dude, 9 to 5 work, right? And then come home, work a couple of hours on whatever it is that I'm planning to do for like next week, that kind of thing. Do a little bit of writing. I always have a pen. I'm old school, so I have a pencil, or I have a pen and pad nearby, and I'm always writing down ideas. Here's mine, the Sharpie S Gel. This thing, if you've never used a Sharpie S Gel, this is like ice skating with a pen. Oh, I love that. Yeah, what is it? It's a Sharpie? Oh yeah, it's an ice skate S Gel. Yeah, you need to get a Sharpie pen. Check it out. I'll show you. You need to get some sponsorships over here, Sharpie. Where you at? Like you know what I mean? So it's like it gives you like the nice black look and everything. There's my handwriting for everyone I need to hit up. Look, J. Michael Miller right at the top for Polko. Oh, there you go. Because for me, like when I get such an influx, you know what I mean? There's so many people out there that want to talk about their book, and I want to give them a shot. Like for me, the biggest thing is I don't care about follower size. If you have something to talk about, I want to talk about it. So I'll be like working on Twitter. I'll have Twitter up here, Instagram right there, and then I'm like, okay, like writing stuff down. It'll be like 4 a.m. when I'm doing this. Like that's how it is, man. That's how it is. It never ends. It's like the day never ends. but it's awesome. It's like I said, it's rewarding, man. When you actually get it accomplished and get it done, and like things like this, for example, the reason why I'm so ecstatic about it is because I know that there was a lot of work that was put into it. So when you finally do it and you have the success that I'm having, I'm like I'm overwhelmed by it. It's so great.
God, dude, and you are really killing it with this campaign. So real quick before we go, I do want to get two pieces of gems out of you. What are you doing not to get burned out? It seems like you because I work a 9 to 5 too, and that it sucks. I mean, it sucks like having, because you only get 24 hours in a day, you know, and you got to make time for the significant other. You got to make time for your life, you know. Like, what are you doing to make sure you aren't burning out?
I'm trying to surround myself with as many creative people as I possibly can, dude. Like I have a nice core of creative friends that I know I can pick up the phone and be like, hey man, what are you up to? What are you doing? And just that conversation can just, you know, catapult you and motivate you to do something for yourself. So I'll talk to my boy Sam on a regular basis. I'll talk to my friend Anibal Arroyo. Big shout out to him. He's an artist, amazing artist. I talk to him. My friend Jonathan Syfax is an incredible writer. I speak to those guys like on a constant basis. I try to keep as much contact. We have like a chat going, and we're always just throwing stuff on the chat. Hey, check this out. Whether it's a page that they colored or drew, or you know, anything, a funny meme, a video, anything to just keep your mind, you know, fresh and, you know, not bogged down with just the regular stuff of everyday life. So I try definitely surround yourself with creative people. Try to have a nice little circle of people that, you know, you can bounce ideas off of and always talk shop, you know, like, and not just shop, but just have fun, having fun.
And before we go, I guess what would be your, because you're in chapter 5, you've been killing it with Kickstarter. What would be your top 3 biggest pieces of advice for anyone doing a Kickstarter?
For doing a Kickstarter, I think networking is huge. You have to network. You have to come out of your shell and go out there and say, hey, my name is George and I'm doing this, or I'm, you know what I mean? Not spammy. Don't become this spam person, but definitely, you know, just interact with people, whether it's online. You know, I think going to shows is important to do that. Now that shows are opening up, try to do that. Link up with some of your, like, whether it's your comic book shop near you or stuff like that. I think you need to do that. And I also think that you need to plan ahead. For me, that's what worked for me, just planning ahead. Not thinking that you're gonna launch in April, but you know, you just started the campaign yesterday. Like you have to do your work prior to it, unless you're Todd McFarlane who says, hey, I got a campaign coming out tomorrow and he's got $1 million.
Well, he got the name. He got the name, you know?
He's got that name. If you don't have that name, you gotta do your work. And so you have to grind it out. I would say at least 4 months before you launch your campaign. Do
how many of those followers transitioned into backers for you, would you say?
Dude, so far right now, looking at about 35 of the people that I reached.
That's a good number, right? Usually
that's
it's about
pretty
25.
good. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. So I have a pretty good percentage of people who have converted. And I do, and listen, and some of these people I've actually started a line of communication, because I did say, hey, you know, here's a PDF of whatever. So I do have a rapport with them. So if I do have to reach out to them, I feel comfortable enough to say, hey, don't forget the campaign is live now. That'll help out a little bit. So be on the lookout, guys. If you follow the campaign, you may be getting some.
Well, you know, for me, like if I have that comfort, that comfortable ness with you, it's easier. Like for me, like when I get cold called, like when someone DMs, like, hey, you know, hey Cody, how are you doing? This is my Kickstarter. You know, be sure to pledge or retweet. I'm like, I don't know. Like you could have said hi.
I know.
You know, but for you, like we have that conversation. So you could definitely be like, hey, yo, I'm live, and I'm like, dude, fuck yeah, let's go. You know
what? And that's the ththing. I think social media sometimes has kept us from being human. Just be human. Yes. Don't be a robot. And because, you know, sometimes like, no, I just want the pledge. I don't care about who you are, what you like, or what you don't like. I just want your money. So here's my campaign pledge. And it's like, nah, dude, it's not like that. It's hey, like, how you doing? How you doing? How's everything? All right, good. You know?
Ask me if I want to talk about your book. Yes, and then I'm more than likely to pledge at some point because I'm stoked for you. You know?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I think that's key, man. Be human. Be human,
hey, we got Dan Price saying what you're doing about comics for kids is awesome. I gotta agree with that too. Once again, guys, we're gonna take this all day. So all day, I'm gonna make an official post on Twitter about it. If you get that and you let me or George know, I'll get you a shirt and a graphic novel on top of that for helping those kids.
That's amazing, bro. Yeah.
Hey, dude, anything to help kids, because like, you know, when you're a kid, life should be about being a kid.
That's
should be about having fun, you know.
That's right.
And they can't help what they're going through. So if we could help them be a kid, I'm about that a billion times. But
100%.
Man, George, what an awesome episode, man! I loved getting you back on.
Oh, bro, this is great.
This was amazing. Guys, I think it is time for us to wrap up. We got to save some juice for chapter 6. You know, we can't be giving it all out in this episode. When's your next show? Let's get everyone in the audience prepped for your next appearance. Like, where are you going to be at? What time?
Yeah. Next appearance. What's today? Today is Friday. So next appearance is Monday at 7:30 p.m. I'm going to be on the Bitten Apple TV, and I'll have links to that on my Get Your Meds show. So make sure you go check that out. It's going to be on YouTube, Facebook, same thing like here. And Written Ralph, he's a cool dude. He's going to do the interview. So I'll be talking to him 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, Monday night, 7:30 p.m. live. It's going to be live on. They have a YouTube channel. So I'll have the link for it, obviously, on my social media, and that's where I'm going to be next for the next show. That's going to be the next appearance.
Dude, man, I want to sign off, but real quick, isn't it crazy? Our first show was pre-recorded because I was too nervous to go live with it.
Dude, that's crazy. And here we are, just, you know? But this is what's dope, man.
I was like, man, I used to be like, yeah, we're going to record this and everything. And then, like, I think it was like 2 episodes after that, I was like, why am I not doing this live?
Let's go.
But with that being said, guys, what a fantastic Friday. I hope you guys all have a awesome weekend. If you haven't, be sure to check out Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It was a pretty good watch. If you're on the fence about it, be sure to check it out. And most importantly, back this campaign. George is awesome. Wonder Duck is amazing. My kid loved it. I loved it. And I think you're going to love it too, guys. With that being said, though, here's the most important part of the day. Keep it geekly.